What's up, folks? If you're interested in building some flexibility fast or efficiently in a small amount of time invested, then this is the video for you. I just got back from my run and I'm going to walk you through the actual stretching session that I do every time after I run, so roughly 2 to 3 times a week in order to work towards my front splits. It should take about 5 minutes if I don't talk too long, but normally it takes me around 5 minutes. And so in this way, in roughly 15 to 20 minutes of work per week, I'm working towards the front splits. So as I mentioned, I just got back from a run, so I'm already warmed up in terms of the legs and the overall body, so I don't have to do anything like that. If you aren't warmed up, then taking a few moments to sort of ease into these stretches a little bit more dynamically would be a good idea, so that you're then ready to push it hard and really push high intensity. The only equipment you'll need for this is your body and something to slide easily along on the floor. So I'm just going to be using a rug on our tiles, and then I'm using the towel that I used to dry off after my run because it is pouring down rain right now and I'm very, very moist. If you don't have stuff to slide, you can still do the stretches, but it's just a little bit more cumbersome and it'll take you slightly more time to get into your deepest position. I highly advise finding things that slide easily in order to aid your splits work. All right, enough yapping, let's get into it. So we're going to be doing the front splits here. So I get on both knees and then put one foot out in front of me and then just slide into not my deepest position, but like maybe 80 to 90% of my deepest range of motion, trying to use my strength. So now I'm putting a decent amount of weight into this. So this is loaded stretching, and I am feeling a nice stretch in the hamstrings and the hip flexors here. So with this first repetition, we're just going to try to feel the stretch, see where my body's at today, and warm up the specific musculature and the specific, tendons, ligaments, whatever, the soft tissue, and the joints generally, to be ready to push really hard on the next one. So on this, I'm aiming to work up to like a maybe 8 out of 10 intensity feeling on the stretch. So that is to say, yeah, it's not an absolute limit one, but it does feel pretty strong. So you notice here, I'm sort of oscillating around the position, seeing what it feels like. Does it feel good to rotate my hips a little bit, to shift my weight from side to side? I guess I'll clip this to me so I can move more freely. Oh. Hopefully you all can still hear me there. I'll talk a bit louder. But yeah, so here, I'm not at full depth right now. My calf is touching here and my knee's touching there. It's feeling pretty good. I'll just pulse around a bit, take a moment to really flex the muscles that I'm stretching. So now I'm pushing into the floor to push myself upwards, although I'm not strong enough to do that, but that's the intention. And now I'm really flexing the muscles that will bring me deeper, so the quads and the rear hamstring and glute. And yeah, I've had about enough. So I move out of it and we switch to the next side. So that was side one, and because this is of course an asymmetric stretch, I will now do the second side. You're always going to have one side that's a little bit worse than the other. For me, it is this one with the left leg forward. They're getting pretty close. I'm minimizing the difference, but it definitely never feels quite as good. I am able to touch the calf down here, so that's pretty nice. Ooh. So one thing you can do in these is you can sort of pulse a little bit to oscillate through the positions. This really warms up the muscles well and just sort of increases the sensation of the stretch. You don't always have to do pulses. You don't have to really do any of these, but basically these are just various different techniques to move us near to our end range of motion, get warmed up for it, and then on the next repetition, we will really push and we will try to break through to a new range of motion, or at least the end range of motion that we can access today. Of course, in every single individual session, you're not going to be hitting a PB every single time. Probably in your first several sessions stretching, you will experience that. But once you've been stretching for months and years, you're not going to improve every single time. But you should be making small improvements every 5 times or so. But some days will be worse than others. And, today I might not get as deep as I did, 2 days ago, or last time I stretched. So this feels pretty good. And yeah, that's good. Right, so that is repetition number 1 complete. Now I'm just going to take a moment to sort of rest before I commit to doing my final repetition. In the final repetition, I'm going to go all out. I'm going to try to hit a level 9 or 10 on the sort of stretching intensity scale, which means it's going to be pretty uncomfortable. I was already sweating because I just went running, but if I had like started off with, you know, a non-elevated heart rate and it wasn't hot as fuck here like it always is, I would probably still be sweating because I'm going to put a lot of effort into this. Actively pulling myself deeper into the stretch and actively trying to resist the stretch with the muscles that are being stretched. In this way, we develop a little bit of strength near this end range of motion, and we just sort of spend time there telling our body that it's okay. We spend time there without getting injured, and over time, that tells our body, yeah, it's okay to hold these positions, and then over time, it'll allow you to go a little bit deeper. Okay, now I feel pretty good, so I'm just going to get into it. This one I might talk a little bit less because, as you'll see, it's going to be intense. So here I'm lowering as much as possible under my body weight with the actual strength of my legs. Oh, there we go. And I think I'll be able to touch down with the right. Yep, there we go. Just found a little bit extra space there. Okay. Oh. So now I'm flexing with my quads to try to bring myself deeper. Oh. So it's not like a 10 out of 10 muscular strength. Like I could push harder physically. You know, if I was doing strength training or something, I could push harder and I could get the rep. But it's like a 9 to 10 out of 10 feeling of intensity throughout the tissue being stretched. So it's a little bit different than the feeling you have when you're, you know, bodybuilding or lifting weights. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's very intense. So now I'm going to lean back a little bit to try to increase the stretch on the rear leg, so on the hip flexor there, because it's already very intense on the hamstring right there. Ooh. Oh, yeah, that was a loud one. Loud in terms of how it felt internally across my knee. Okay. Yeah, that was pretty good. I touched all the way down there. Yeah, I'm like, I basically have the full splits on that side. I've been working towards it. I'm able to get the entire front, like, femur bone on the ground, but I'm rotating out and compensating a little bit on the back leg. So I still have a bit of room to go there, but it's looking pretty good. The other side, as you'll see, is not quite as flexible yet. Ah. Oh. Yeah, see on this one, I'm like weaker and it just, oh, it feels much heavier, even though it's obviously the same amount of body weight. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Okay. Need a little bit of rest and try to push myself just as deeper, but under slightly less load. So I'll make future videos on explaining sort of the methodology of what I'm doing here, but I think in practice, you don't really need to overcomplicate it. Spend time moving in and around your absolute max range of motion that is available to you that day, trying to push it within reason, but avoiding like actual pain. And spend a little bit of time across 1 to maybe 3 repetitions or sets. And then rest a couple days and then do it again. And if you consistently do this for months and years, you can go very, very far. And the actual amount of time spent stretching can be very, very low. As I mentioned, I do 15 to 20 minutes total of stretching per week, and I'm making very steady, very, very gains at what I would say is a pretty advanced level, at least in this movement that I practice. Okay, come back a little more. So you might be asking, okay, is all you do, you just practice the splits and that's the only thing you do to get the splits? No, not quite. Most of the time I do just practice the splits, but every so often I will do different specific stretches. So I might do hamstring specific work unilaterally, or I might do the couch stretch in order to stretch my quads and my hips flexors more effectively. But I do spend more time practicing the splits because at the end of the day, I want to get better at the splits, and it's very, very efficient, a very good bang for your buck movement to improve overall flexibility. So if I were doing one of those other exercises, maybe one or two of them in a session, I would use the same methodology, the same programming, and the same technique, but it'd just be a different position that I'm pushing myself in. But I would be pushing myself very hard, very intensely, and then I would spend the next 2 days relaxing and not stretching very, very hard, but occasionally using my mobility in the sports that I do, like climbing and lifting weights. All right, so that was the entire session. This is the way that I've built my splits up basically from zero. It's very simple. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I am working on a full flexibility program, which should be coming out in the next couple months. So stay tuned for that, and give us a like, give us a subscribe if you got value from this video. Get flexible. It doesn't take that long. It kind of sucks. I don't really like it, but I tether it to other habits that I do like running. So then I'm able to reap those benefits with very little work, but a whole lot of consistency over time. All right, folks, thanks so much. Take care. Have a great day. Let's get strong and flexible for life together.